us, I think, are all too familiar with the headlines that seem to be appearing with increasing frequency about some of the safety issues in the healthcare supply chain. This demand for increased patient safety is coming at the same time that there's also a clamoring for all of us in the industry to decrease the costs of healthcare. So how do we improve patient safety and also lower the cost of healthcare?
What we really need to do is to eliminate anything that can cause harm to a patient, and one thing that we have noticed in particular is that the lack of standardization on medication marking or on instruments has an adverse effect on how the staff do their work.
Through the implementation of global standards that we can help raise the bar and make it more difficult for counterfeiters to introduce counterfeit drugs into the supply chain.
It's all about the patient. And using the GS1 standards, which we embrace, it's clear identification of the product that we're selecting. Our accuracy is unparalleled.
But we also have issues with medications that are not counterfeit, that they have come through the legitimate supply chain, but they can be just as dangerous if they're not identified and not marked properly.
From the supply chain point of view, it's important that we realise some benefits for getting purchase orders reconciled quicker, the suppliers getting paid quicker. We've got better ability to manage inventory and stock control, so we don't have to carry as much stock. Stock's able to be identified, shipped and purchased a lot more readily. We've got a much better idea of our consumption, which also helps in maintaining the right stock levels. We don't have to return as many goods because they've been misordered, so there's benefits there that we're seeing.
It's allowed us to be extremely precise in what we do and taking really all the pressure away from our employees because they're scanning, getting confirmation of the scan, providing the product.
The key to success is actually linking the supply chain from end to end. In order to do that effectively, you need to have a common communication and a common way of sharing information. And you need your systems to create visibility and transparency and to operate together. And the only way that you can do that is with a common global standard.
Not having national identification systems or limiting the use of these national identification systems really will facilitate a host of benefits, we think, from a device identification perspective.
Global standards in relation to unique device identification, and GS1 is the leading standard. There's no question about that.
For one market, we have multiple language on our labels, and for a manufacturer it's absolutely important to be ready to use the same technology, the same standard for different markets around the world.
If players in the healthcare supply chain need to operate with multiple standards, we found that there's would be an increased cost.
Bringing all the stakeholders together, which GS1 Global does very well, as do the MOs, really having that opportunity, I think, is very powerful and will continue to be, I think, the cornerstone of the work going forward.
One of the great benefits of GS1 standards specifically is that GS1 offers a full suite of standards. And by that I mean there are standards that we can use to identify our products in a consistent way. GTINs, for example, then we can use global location numbers or GLNs to identify places. And then we have standards around the data carriers and how we capture information about these products. And then ultimately, there are standard ways through GS1 standards that we can exchange information. So the GS1 suite of standards allows us a means to capture, identify, and exchange.
I don't think we should wait to act. I think if we wait for the regulators to issue the regulations and then we take steps, I think by that time it's too late. I think it's very important for all parties to participate in this early on, become more proactive so that we shape the external environment. And I think through that we're accelerating the adoption. And as a result, the patients benefit sooner from it. Our businesses benefit much sooner because we're proactive.
First of all, healthcare is at a crossroads. There is an opportunity, the technology's in place, the GS1 standards exist. There is an opportunity to create alignment and to drive the kind of business value as well as the patient value that we described. Global standards could help to save thousands of lives a year and billions of dollars. Every part of the healthcare value chain could benefit. And finally, multiple standards would diminish the benefits.